Intergenerational wealth transfer is a huge issue now for advisors and clients. Joined today by the 43rd Treasurer of the United States, Rosie Rios, to discuss just that. Rosie, welcome.
Thank you.
So Rosie, when you think about the intergenerational wealth transfer that's going to go on, what do you think about?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. And if you're only thinking about it now, you're behind the 8 ball. The train has left the station. I keep saying that, and it's absolutely true, especially when it comes to this topic. So what people need to realize about intergenerational wealth is it's already happening, right? So we're talking about so the boomers, which is my generation, we have the most discretionary income. But this next generation, basically, the millennials, although it's pretty much anyone born in the mid-90s and later, are going to inherit this opportunity to really think about investments in a totally different way. So
the entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
None of us are strangers to change over the course of our long careers, but it does feel like we're in the midst of a once-in-a-lifetime shift. The architecture of finance, and by that I mean global currencies all the way down to payments, lending and deposits. It's unbundling bit by bit, and it's rebundling around a new, largely digital architecture. And this happened in trading over the last few decades, and it was an evolution. But what we're seeing now is more of a revolution, with new architectures supplanting old ones. And the way our industry has operated for decades, it's going to be replaced with new ways. And the scale and the speed required to serve our clients, it's of a completely different magnitude. So here at Citi, where we move over $4 trillion globally each day, where we enable clients to issue payments in 144 different currencies, where we do business in more than 160 different countries and are on the ground in nearly 100 of them, well, we have a deep appreciation for scale and agility.
So you can have a tokenized world where basically through unified ledgers and interconnectedness, you can put this financial system in place. The other advantage of having a tokenized-based world is that you can have atomic settlement, which means that you can do the settlement immediately, and therefore you could also save huge amounts in the management of collateral. We have already started a few projects in this direction. I think what we need to start with is to have a solid platform. What is a solid platform for a financial system? Is to have what we call a two-tier banking system.
It's impossible to think in the near future that 100% of our assets will get digitized, so you still need to have a balance between the old and the new. You still need to risk manage that really well, and most importantly, you can't lose track of the client experience, right? So that's why the infrastructure component is really important, and that's where we're going to double down our efforts. And I have been calling on the industry, and I hope, forgive me because I'm going to do it again now, right? We shouldn't be competing on infrastructure. Nobody wins on infrastructure. You need scalability, you need resiliency, you need safety.
DTCC is owned by major financial players. It's effectively neutral ground for the major institutions to develop the financial market infrastructure of the future.
Being at the core gives us visibility to the pain points that the industry is having as it looks to take advantage of this new blockchain technology.
This is our call to action. This is what we were built for as an organization.
We at DTCC Digital Assets have a variety of ways that we can work with our clients to build a comprehensive solution for the industry that will enable the adoption of digital assets.
Right now, my focus and the focus of our team in DTCC is to really collaborate with the market and start to build an end-to-end ecosystem.
So what's really exciting is we think what blockchain really represents, the finishing of an Internet of Value, is the completion of globalization. And now suddenly I think we have a much better chance of that working for another 2 billion people We just thought there was just a matter of time before the world was going to have some form of a digital currency that had no government behind it or no counterparty. But I think that kind of evolved into this excitement around, hey, that it's not just about the currency, but fundamentally it's about wiring an internet for money. This is almost like 1994, the first days of the data internet. But I think what that means for the world is it's the commoditization of reach. Suddenly, every single entrepreneur, every bank, every currency in the world has unlimited reach. And right now, that's not the way it is. And that's just exactly what happened to data. Now is happening for money. And that's really fun and exciting. And I think we'll have, kind of the stakes are even larger when it comes to money and value. This is going to be a profound change on the way the world works, and I think brings the world closer together. I mean, through all this backlash and globalization, we all know that we have no hope unless we are kind of working together. And I think this is really going to clear a lot of the friction that's kind of getting in the way of the promise that globalization was supposed to bring.
You are doing for money what email did for communication. Do you think this is really going to take off to that extent?
You know, we do. When we look at the world, you see a world completely connected on an information web. And that's terrific. That makes things tremendously efficient. But what we don't have is the sense of a value web. Payments, the exchange of value is still pre-internet based on 40-year-old technology. And so that's very expensive. That really slows e-commerce. Lots of parts of the world don't have the ability to make payments. So this new technology that really is a second gen of Bitcoin enables now value to be exchanged in the same way that information is currently exchanged. And that's a big deal, we think.
We recognize the potential of DLT to transform global capital markets, and this launch supports the expansion of digital capabilities in the post-trade space. Join us in shaping the future of bond issuance.
Blockchain is bigger than Bitcoin. Blockchain could radically transform the way we buy and sell things. It could get rid of forms, user agreements, signatures, and even legal documents. No wonder some say it will have a greater impact on our day-to-day lives than even the internet.
We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will have its own, basically, CUSIP. It'll be on one general ledger. Every investor, you and I, will have our own number, our own identification. We could rid ourselves of all issues around illicit activities about bonds and stocks and digital by having a tokenization. But the most importantly thing, we could customize strategies through tokenization that fits every individual. We would have instantaneous settlement. Think about all the costs of settling bonds and stocks. But if you had a tokenization, everything would be immediate because it's just a line item. And so we believe this is a technological transformation for financial assets. I believe if you want to talk about voting and voting choice and all the things, if we know every moment who is the owner of that stock and it's now time to vote, every individual who has ownership is identified and they can vote their own shares.
How do you keep the dollar as the world's reserve currency while also creating a backdrop for growth in digital assets? What's the plan?
Well, two different approaches. One is stablecoins. And on the Financial Services Committee, we have, thanks to Chairman McHenry and Congressman French Hill and so many other hardworking members, we've put together an entire stablecoin regime. Now, remember, a stablecoin is backed by $1 in a U.S. bank. One stablecoin equals $1. It allows emerging economies in continents like Africa to trade essentially in U.S. dollars using a stablecoin regime that is backed by, American banks. That's what we're excited about in Congress. This isn't about replacing the U.S. dollar. It's about strengthening its power.
You know what? I ain't got to deal with none of this shit. I ain't got to deal with none of this shit. You ain't nothing but a habitual line-stepping, Jedi mind-tricking motherfucker, and I ain't got to deal with it.
You gonna deal with it?
You know why? Do you know why? Blockchain. That's right, motherfucker. Blockchain. You remember Thursday, Tony? That trick I used to see on Tuesdays who lost his house investing in some bootleg Bitcoin? Well, that nigga, his plate got me researching this shit. And cryptocurrency a bubble, everybody know that. But blockchain? Oh, that shit the future. You can laugh if you want to, nigga.
Yo, catch your breath or you pass the fuck out. So you from the blockchain, huh? That's what you're investing in? Well, when you gonna do that? Is that before or after you take off and backpack through the mountains of Peconi?